Hey there. Have you ever felt stressed? Okay, of course you have. Everyone has felt stressed. So I guess the more important question is, how do you bounce back? How do you recover from the daily stressors of your life? You see, that wasn't a question I was asking myself until I finally learned the importance of pause. So my story begins in the summer of 2016. I just finished my very hectic junior year of college, and I wanted to live in Boston for the summer so that I could work at my school and enjoy some life in the city. So I decided to continue my job at the registrar's office of my school. For the summer, I decided to increase my hours to help pay for my living expenses and to also save up some money. The registrar's office was an interesting place. The people I worked with were some of the friendliest and sweetest people I've ever met, but the work itself felt like a constant flooding of paperwork, emails, phone calls, and too little time to get to it all. As I started to work more and more hours there, I realized that the office I was in was at the center of so many essential functions of running a college. I would get phone calls from everyone from angry students, confused students, scared students, alums, angry parents, other schools, you name it. More often than not, people were asking me questions I could never remember the answers to. No matter how much training I got or how many notes I took, I would always have to ask my supervisor dozens of questions each day on how to get everything done. I felt utterly stupid, a feeling that I really wasn't used to. And as the insecurity built up, my anxiety started to get the better of me. I would dread going into work every day, and I would flee as soon as possible when my shift was over. Sometimes the stress would follow me throughout the day and even throughout the weekend. There were times when I would call my sister crying about how idiotic and incompetent I felt, no matter how hard I was trying at my job. Days at the office turned into weeks, and the emails, the phone calls, the complaints, the to-do lists, the paperwork kept piling up. I soon realized that I couldn't go on like this any longer. With no peace of mind, I finally decided that I had to stop. Now, quitting wasn't an option for me because I made a commitment to this job. So I had to figure out how I could achieve some peace of mind while finishing the few months that I had left on the job. And that's when I started to seriously consider meditation. More specifically, meditative yoga. One morning, before work, I woke up about an hour earlier than I usually do. I grabbed my laptop and searched for yoga to help with stress and anxiety. I found a video that looked interesting, and I pressed play. And I sat, and I breathed, and I listened to my instructor. For 30 minutes, not a single thought of work entered my mind. Later that day, I went to work as I usually do, but everything that day felt lighter. I still had stacks and stacks of paperwork to process and dozens of emails in the inbox, but it didn't bother me. I still had to ask my supervisor questions at every turn, but I didn't let that make me feel stupid. I started to make a regular practice of doing yoga in the mornings. And while the remaining months of my job were far from easy, I felt that I had a groundedness that allowed me to realize that this job was not my whole world. I now make an extra effort these days to prioritize time to myself, prioritize helping my mind to recover from what's going on around me. This realization actually got me wondering, what are the little things that other people do in their days and in their weeks in order to make necessary repairs or just take a break from the chaos of the day? So I decided to interview some of my friends on campus, and here's what they had to say. The first person I talked to was my good friend, Jen.
All right, so my name is Jen. I'm a nursing major, and I'm minoring in public health and psych. I'm from North Reading, Massachusetts. I've always lived in Massachusetts. I guess I kind of grew up in Boston going there for Chinese school.
For Jen, physical activity like running is a really helpful pause in her hectic schedule.
It helps me de-stress because I don't really think when I like exercise, because I kind of like, I don't know, it's just that steady kind of like beat, tempo, kind of drum of just running. And I've never been able to, like, even if I try to think about things, I like can't automatically. My like exercise reflex is to not use my brain. Yeah, just use enough of it to, like, bipedal. I think it's good to get away from things, but also, like, after a run, I actually just do feel better. It's like taking medicine. You don't, it's just like a biological process, but in biology affects psychology. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it turns out Jen also dabbles in yoga as well.
I really like Bikram yoga. I've told you about this.
Yeah.
Where, it's just, it's hot yoga for 90 minutes. And you're just really sweaty. Everyone else is sweaty. And I think that's what I like about it so much. It, like, goes to that extreme where you feel like you can push yourself really hard, but at the same time, go at your own pace. I go in and I'm usually like, damn, it's really hot. And I already see everyone's armpit sweats. I see my own armpit sweats. It's been 30 seconds. Yeah. So when you go in, it's a little overwhelming. We start the class, we try to get there a little early, so everyone is laying on their yoga mats. People aren't really catching up or anything. It's you're expected to kind of, that's how I've seen it. Like, you bring your yoga mat and your towel, you lay on it just flat. You look up at the ceiling, you try to clear your mind. You see everyone else doing that, so you feel comfortable doing that yourself. And just kind of, meditating and just like feeling everything, but kind of just not thinking about it, not pushing your thoughts away, but just like more so letting go of everything and then just being in the moment. There's nothing else but you, other people, the floor, the ceiling, and the heat. At the end, the instructor stays with you for a bit, but then they leave the room. They tell you can stay in there as long as you want. So I've stayed there till I've been the last one. They turn off the lights. You lay on your mat, and people have fallen asleep. I've fallen asleep. And you just kind of do like an end meditation there.
Next, I talked to my friend Gianna.
So, I'm Gianna. I'm an economics major here at Simmons, and I have minors in math and public policy. I'm originally from the Midwest, so I take that to heart. I like alone time. I kind of thrive on having that time alone. So when the weather is nice, I'll go on a walk, or even just going to the gym, reading a book, journaling, just things where I can be a little bit more introspective and just kind of like relax and think also helps a lot. But then I also just make like playlists of music that I like and make me happy, and I walk to that music. And if it's especially nice, that's when I'll like sit outside on some bench somewhere. I've been listening to a lot of like neo soul. So like there's this one, I don't know if she considers herself a rap artist, but she's worked with Chance the Rapper. She was a poet turned rapper, no name. So she has a lot of just like jazzy type instrumentals, and then like she's also very calm. Her voice is very like melodic, or like Erykah Badu, Common, just a lot of like kind of neo soul or like old school rap that's kind of like chill. Just because I feel like that helps me a lot, just to kind of like relax.
When the lights was off, we had to stay with cousins. Granny at the BBQ with Petty as husband. Summertime, city lights, shot town, my town, my town. After school matters like I'm needing a stipend right now. Kindergarten parking lot got caught with the blunt like wow, wow. Run, run, run. Mama say come home before the street lights do. Ice cream on my front porch.
When Gianna was going through a tough breakup and dealing with the stresses of school, it was the comforts of home that provided an ideal environment for her pause.
But it was just like, I'm like not my normal self, I guess. I noticed that me as a person, I was like, this is not who I am day to day. So this is just not healthy for me. So I guess towards the end it was nice just because we were approaching breaks. Like Thanksgiving had passed. Finals were coming up, and then I'd go home. So it was nice just to, like, end the relationship, have all of winter break home, so in a whole different environment, state, like, city and state, because I'm from out of state, and to be around, like, family. So I had, like, that time, like, about a month just to, like, chill out. And I feel like home, I mean, everyone has different circumstances, but for the most part, it's just, like, a comforting environment. Like, you know that you'll have a home-cooked meal, there'll be people there that you're familiar with and love you unconditionally, and, like, that's nice just to be in, like, a safe environment. So I guess I have, like, 2 homes now that I consider, because my mom is in Tampa and my grandmother, Mimi, is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I kind of flip-flop between going to both of those places, but both of them are very minimalist, so there's not a lot of clutter. There's not a lot of things, so I find that very calming. I know Carolina's very quiet. Like, we live a little bit outside of Charlotte, so, I mean, there's no sound. Like here, we hear ambulances, there's cars rushing by, you hear construction, so it's just a lot. But back home, there's nothing. Like, we're kind of in a quiet residential area, so it's nice to be able to just, like, sleep or just, like, sit, and you don't have to hear anything necessarily. Is calming. In Tampa, I guess the weather is nice pretty much all the time. Like, I know right now it's like 80 degrees or something. So, like, if I want to go to the pool and just sit in the water, that's nice, you know? Or go to the beach and just kind of have, like, more natural, I don't know, environments. That's always nice. I don't know. It sucks to be stressed. Like, no one likes being stressed, but I think it's nice to take that, like, self-care is like, okay. So being able to, like, detach yourself from something that's stressing you out and find time during your day to just, like, do something that helps you relax, I think is really important, so.